This is the time, we had Escape out. Jade was still going strong. Brownstone was just about to come around the corner with If You Love Me. So the R&B girl group scene in the 90s, in the mid-90s, was absolutely jam-packed. And for Cut Close to be able to, pardon the pun, cut through to the pop charts like that was pretty doggone impressive. Right on time for another ride on the Groove Line with your host, Chris Stevens. Hopefully you all are doing well out there. It's Wednesday. Going to get over the hump with the song to hump to. It's Slow Jam Wednesdays around here, as I like to do it. And we're going to go back to 1995, a very pivotal year. Once again, this is the second straight week. We actually probably the third, if you think about it. Third straight year we've gone back to around 1995 or somewhere thereabouts. So we're going to talk about this gem from some lovely ladies from the ATL. We are talking about Kut Klose and I Like. And this song, I don't know how this song gets missed when we talk about the best slow jams and quiet storm songs of the 90s, but it's up there on my list. Absolutely. This one came out in February of 95. That was a perfect time of year. The snow, depending on where you live. Some folks got snow in February of 95. Others didn't. But winter, either way, it's cold. You need somebody to get close to for body heat and other reasons. And I Like by Kut Klose is one of those songs that get you there. It was co-written by one of the members of the group, Tabitha Duncan, who I believe is singing that first verse, by the way. I know the second verse is all Athena Cage all day long. Like Athena Cage just has one of those voices that just you can hear from your memories if you're a child of the 90s. I Like was the biggest hit Kut Klose ever had. It went up to number 34 on the pop charts for a girl group, an R&B group from Atlanta in the 90s. And I mean, this is the time, we had Escape out. Jade was still going strong. Brownstone was just about to come around the corner with If You Love Me. So the R&B girl group scene in the 90s, in the mid-90s, was absolutely jam-packed. And for Kut Klose to be able to, pardon the pun, cut through to the pop charts like that was pretty doggone impressive. I don't think there's anything negative that I can come up with this song. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be talking about it. But you just think about the way Tabitha starts off that first verse. Tender loving is what I want. No need to rush it. Let's take it nice and slow. It's like, it's the way songs used to be written back in those days. Like they were step-by-step manuals for a good night. And I think that's what's missing in R&B today. Popular R&B. I always like to differentiate that there's R&B that you hear on the radio. There's R&B that still gets the visual treatment. Again, they are music videos, not visuals. Music videos. Sorry, that gets on my nerves so damn bad. But, the stuff that's off the beaten path, artists that don't have that same backing, that same promotion, there are people that are still making those type of slow jams today. You just don't hear them as much. You have to go seek them out. But back then, you didn't have to go far for a slow jam because you had the Quiet Storm. Oh, by the way, I hate to interrupt. I got a Quiet Storm. I'm a guest on someone's podcast talking about the Quiet Storm. I can't wait to share this with you guys. Whenever he gets around to editing it and publishing it, you will know about it. But I had a very fun interview talking about the Quiet Storm for about 30, 45 minutes. Beautiful. Can't wait to share it with you guys. But yes, back to the topic of I Like. And it's a song that just sets the mood the way the mood needs to be set. And this is an interesting song from the standpoint that R&B, the Quiet Storm aspect of it, started to reach sort of like a more, shall we say, mature level lyrically in the 90s. Because when you think about the way 92, 93 is when it starts. Because you got Silk with Freak Me. Because kids my age, 10, 11, 12, we had no business singing, let me lick you up. And got Downtown by SWV, Knocking the Boots by H-Town. This little game we play by Subway and 702. I'll never forget, oh my God, real quick, off the beaten path. I'll never forget the first time seeing This Little Game We Play video after school. Supposed to be doing homework with my boys and we watching the video. And I don't know if it was Irish or Orish or one of the twins that unzipped her jacket and one of my boys literally fell off the couch. We were 13, that was like, hello. You get the picture. You get what I'm saying here. But yeah, and the subject and the lyrical content started to become a lot more mature. And I mean, Kut Klose was no exception. I mean, I like the way you kiss me. I like the way you squeeze me. I like the way you tease me. I like the way you sex me. Like you hear that, as a 13-year-old, and it's like, oh wow, they really talking about some grown up stuff. And I think that's probably why so many kids of my generation, us 81, 82 babies, that's why a lot of my peers had kids so young because the music was just so, that energy just started to get into folks. We were the last generation of latchkey kids. So our parents were still at work, grandparents were still working because grandparents at that time weren't, I mean, grandparents were older, but grandparents still had jobs. I'll never forget, my grandmother worked at a laundromat until my uncle, God rest his soul, God rest both of their souls, made her quit. And she cussed him out when he made her quit. But so you think about this, it's the mid-90s, it's the mid to late 90s. The 81, 82 babies, we're pretty much the last latchkey kids for the most part. We come home after school, don't burn nothing down, don't touch nothing that don't supposed to be touched. Turn on the TV if you're going to turn on the TV, but do your damn homework. That was what it was for us in those days. But a lot of other, kids were able to be sneakier and bring in their boyfriend or girlfriend and, start to explore a little bit. I was a chubby, socially awkward kid raised by a strict single mother who was a social worker. Yeah, wasn't going to be a whole lot of shenanigans in my house at that point in time. Make no mistake about it. So when you listen to a song like that, it does bring back memories. It may bring back different memories for different people. But I just remember feeling like, for one, everybody in Kut Klose was just like fine as hell. Athena, fine. Levon, fine. Tabitha, fine. I mean, it's like, damn, black women are it. Even as a 13-year-old, I realized that black women were just the most beautiful women on planet Earth. Not taking anything away from anybody else. Because I have a few favorites outside of the black realm. By the way, Kat Dennings, if you and your husband never work out, call me. That being said, just listening to that song, listening to those songs, listening to those women sing, it just got into you as a young man. Like, wow, these are women that you would want to, take out on a date or, hug, kiss, and, you get the picture. That song was the biggest hit Kut Klose ever had. And it was the only album they would ever put out because, well, the same problem that Silk had with Keith Sweat, Kut Klose had it too. And that, of course, is dinero, the moolah, the skrilla, the scratch, the chicken. You get the picture. Money. Hey, I always find it funny that a lot of artists who end up running their own labels or doing their own production companies and all of that, they end up doing the same nonsense to their artists that the labels that they started with did to them. Like, it is just the most mind-boggling thing to me. Like, wouldn't you learn from that? Wouldn't it be a situation where, it's like parents always say, and I just, talked about how my mom was real strict and everything. And she was just like, looking back on it, she just wanted better for me than she may have had. And I think as an artist that turns into like a record label exec, you should probably try to do the same thing. You should want your artist to not have to suffer through the indignity of fighting for your masters, fighting for your songwriting credits, the publishing and all of that crap. I mean, when I had Steve Green and Gene Robinson from Breakwater on here, first thing Steve said when we talked about the whole Daft Punk sound was like, kids, get your publishing and get your masters. And just listening to those two OGs talk about that, it's like, why aren't kids soaking up this game today? Like, there's so much money that you can make if you are about your business. I mean, I think, and that's the trick. That's the nasty part about entertainment in general, is that these people get these executives get these kids so caught up in the fame and the possible fortune is that they forget about the business. And the business is nasty. As Q-Tip once said, record company rule number 4080, excuse me. Industry company people are shady. That was 35 years ago, and it's still relevant today. So that's why Kut Klose only has one album, and that's why we're talking about I Like as one of those hidden gems, because they just kind of disappeared after that. I know they were on Cadillac Chronicles recently, sounding good as ever. I know they did a kickback concert in the ATL recently. So I think it's great that a lot of these, older acts are starting to find a way to get their names back out there, because they gave kids of my generation and adults of their generation so much joy and so much pleasure in the music. They're like, yo, these folks haven't forgot about us. Let's go back out there. And that's awesome. Because, I mean, maybe the record industry didn't treat them right, but their fans still very much love them. And they feel that love. That's why the OGs constantly are touring. Like, when you think about how there's always an old school fest in your area, if you are a black dominant neighborhood, black dominated area like city, like Philly, we got the Dell Music Series. DC has some stuff. Baltimore, Atlanta, of course, Chicago, Detroit has the jazz concerts. LA, you know, the OGs still get love because they still go out there and put on a show. And you can't beat that with a stick. But hey, anyway, to close this out, I Like by Kut Klose. If it ain't on your slow jams playlist, if it ain't on your sexy time playlist, if it ain't on your we about to make a baby tonight or practice making a baby tonight playlist, put it on there. Please do. And if you haven't heard the song, go listen to it. Let me know what you think. If you have any memories of I Like by Kut Klose, feel free to share them in the comments. And that's going to do it for this ride on the Groove Line. Greatly appreciate y'all as always. Contact information will be in the description below. Be sure to subscribe and tap that notification bell so you're notified of all the new videos that drop on the channel. As you guys know, I drop Monday through Friday. So there's always something on this channel for you guys to check out. And don't forget to like and comment on the videos. We have good conversations in the comments. So feel free to drop on by. So thank you guys for riding with me on the Groove Line. And until the next time we ride, may you find the groove or may the groove find you.